There are two questions we shall try to answer today. Number one, does God change his will? And number two, does God will evil? In the book of Isaiah, chapter 38, Hezekiah was mortally ill, and God, through the prophet Isaiah, told him to prepare for his death. Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed to Yahweh, and Yahweh heard his prayer and sent the prophet Isaiah again to him to say, I'm adding 50 years more to your life. Does it mean that the will of God had changed? In the book of Jonah, chapter 3, verse 10, when God saw what they did, how they turned from their evil way, God repented of the evil which he has said he would do to them, and he did not do it. Does this mean that God had changed his will? To be able to answer this question, let us listen to the answer that St. Thomas Aquinas will give in his Summa Theologiae. Question 19 on the will of God, Article 7, whether the will of God is changeable. He said, the will of God is entirely unchangeable. On this point, we must consider that to change the will is one thing, to will that certain things should be changed is another. It is possible to will a thing to be done now and its contrary afterward, and yet for the will to remain permanently the same. Whereas the will would be changed if one should begin to will what before he had not willed, or cease to will what he had willed before. So, to put this within context, God has willed ab initio that when we pray, our prayers will be answered. So, if you pray for something, God will grant it to you, inasmuch as you have prayed according to the Spirit of God. So that does not bring any change of will, because ab initio, God has willed that this should happen through prayer. On whether God wills evil. Now, St. Thomas Aquinas will also have an answer to this. That we can get also Summa Theologiae, question 19, but this time on Article 9. It says whether God wills evil. There are few things we need to note. Sometimes evil happens and then the end result is good. We cannot say that the end result which proceeded out of the evil makes the evil good. For instance, when a tyrant wills to persecute the Christians, his aim, his intention was to destroy them. So if in doing that, the blood of martyrs became the seed of Christianity, the good that came out of that evil does not in any way make the evil good. Evil is evil, good is good. God, who is supremely good, cannot will what is evil to proceed out of it. St. Thomas Aquinas, however, noted the evil of natural defects or of punishment he does will by willing the good to which such evil are attached. Thus, in willing justice, he wills punishment, and in willing the preservation of the natural order, he wills some things to be naturally corrupted. You remember Luke chapter 15, the story of the prodigal son. God has willed that remaining in him and with him we get the satisfaction that we need. Now the prodigal son thought that outside God he will be satisfied. Now when he moved out of God, he saw how empty he was, and then he returned to God. So God has willed the good for man that will remain in him, so that outside of him will remain empty. If he called that emptiness evil for man, well and good, but God has willed ab initio good for man, that away from him we are empty. So if such emptiness means punishment that will draw us back to God, fine and good. But God does not will evil that good may come out of it.